It was 1986 when one of the world's most iconic rap albums hit the scene, the Beastie Boys' License to Ill. Also released in the same year was the timeless classic, Rampage. Just picture it. Three rambunctious teenage friends huddled in front of the game, pounding buttons as they smashed their way through level after level, singing along to Fight for Your Right as their theme song. When these pop culture powerhouses combined, it wasn't just the game or the music. It was an explosive mix that lit a fire, creating an unforgettable moment in time. It was the happiness of screwing around with your friends and banging the side of the arcade cabinet when you ran out of quarters and saw the game over screen appear. In a remarkable way, both Rampage and the Beastie Boys embodied the same defiant spirit of the day that was obnoxious, loud, chaotic, and just so damn fun to play. So let's hit rewind and fight for our right to experience the OG arcade classic Rampage in this Retro Gaming Boss review. Growing up as a kid in the 80s before online and mobile games, I loved chilling with my homies at the arcade, trying to stay out of trouble as our carefree Saturday afternoons passed by. A highlight of that day and age was the all-out smashing spree that is Rampage. Now that I think of it, there aren't really many other games so easy to get into and quite as much fun, especially when raising hell with a couple of your friends. So here's the deal. It's you and your buddies in control of giant destructive monsters. You get to choose from three ferocious beasts: George, the King Kong-like gorilla, Lizzie, the giant green lizard, or Ralph, the massive werewolf. The goal? It couldn't be simpler. Destroy everything! This includes knocking down skyscrapers, stomping on police cars and tanks, punching helicopters, and even gobbling up innocent bystanders. Whatever you want, as long as you keep laying the smackdown on the entire city around you. As you would expect, the gameplay is visceral, of course, giving you a smash-em-up power trip throughout. Rampage was, and still is, an absolute blast, which is why it's loved by so many different generations spanning the decades. That would also explain the number of different sequels and follow-up games that have been released over the years on so many platforms. Rampage Mania even peaked in 2018 with the amazing big-budget Hollywood blockbuster movie of the same name. While those more recent entries are all great fun, none of them can even touch the thrill of the original arcade game, especially with the Beastie Boys on the stereo shouting their sick rhymes and rebelling against authority. As we played, we weren't just blowing up buildings, we were blowing up our own imaginations and fueling our independence as adolescents. You see, the Rampage wasn't just on the screen, it was in our minds, backed by the rebellious beats of the music. The hip-hop metal tunes of the Beasties perfectly complemented the chaos unfolding in the game. Fight for Your Right became our real-life anthem as punk-ass kids of the 80s. This mixture was so liberating and felt like giving a big middle finger to everyone and everything. Our Rampage was against school and homework, against our parents, and even against the neighborhood bully. You name it, and we crushed it as we thrashed about, creating havoc in stage after stage. This action was a great diversion from the day-to-day boredom and conformity of the small town where I grew up. Because in real life, we were just some scrawny, insecure kids. But in Rampage, we became totally jacked and unstoppable badasses. We spent hours on end with huge grins on our faces as we smashed away. Sometimes it even seemed that the Beasties knew what we were playing as their music egged us on to fuck up even more shit. During some particularly intense levels when we were swarmed with tanks and getting lit up by helicopters, we'd even scream out in defiance, "We gotta fight!" as we made our valiant last stand. This experience was the perfect embodiment of our rebellious streak and the kind of stupid mischief we got into as kids during our real-life rampages. Whether blasting our speakers way too loud or eating mountains of candy on Halloween, making our school teachers go totally loco. Heck, I even remember sometimes riding our bikes all the way across town for no particular reason, just to get as far away as possible from adults, and staying out with friends way later at night than we were supposed to. Playing this game now somehow brings those amusing memories back to the fore and makes me chuckle about the absurdity of it all. But back to the gameplay. While it might seem repetitive by modern standards, its novelty was groundbreaking at the time, cementing its place as an arcade gem. If you've ever fantasized of becoming an enormous monster and laying waste to entire cities, Rampage delivers that experience with a giant serving of panache, great action and animation, with fun characters to boot. And in the end, Rampage was so much more than a game. It encapsulated some unforgettable moments earlier in life, and I suspect maybe some great memories of your own too. It's a retro snapshot of a bygone era when arcades were the heartbeat of your social life and interaction with friends. And what better soundtrack to those days than the Beastie Boys? Even now, when I hear those old school tracks, my inner King Kong starts to roar inside as I feel the strange urge to smash a few more buildings with my homies again. So what do you think? Is everything better with the Beastie Boys? Does Rampage stand on its own as the 800-pound gorilla of the arcade? If you played this classic back in the day, give me a thumbs up and drop a comment below about your favorite memories. And also be sure to subscribe and support this channel so I can bring you more videos of your favorite retro games. Alright my friends, this is the Retro Gaming Boss signing out and reminding you to keep it old school, keep it loud, and keep your Rampage going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.